Hey, Marina, thank you so much for being with me on the Purposeful Mindset podcast. All my days, I'm super grateful to have you on my show. And I genuinely just going to get straight into it. I'm so excited for you to share your 5 life lessons. And just before we jumped on the call, I know we were just talking about how you just moved and you're in the middle of the hustle. You're literally in your car right now. You're about to ship something to the post office. And, like, we just had a whole little conversation about where you're at in life. But I love that. I love your hustle. By the way, just to add as well, I love the creativity of your page, the creativity
Oh,
of your
thank you.
business, of your art, of just everything that you're doing right now. When I connected with you through Natalie, I was like, wow, like your page was just brightens people's day, just going on there. It's like, wow, like suddenly a burst of like color everywhere. And I loved it. And I loved what you were doing. And I knew that you were opening a new store. And I was like, wow, super happy for this person. Like she's on the hustle and she's on the grind. So I'm really looking forward. I'm just going to be quiet now. I really want to listen to your top 5 life lessons and basically give my audience the most value that you can, which I know you're most likely
Amazing.
will.
Thank you so much for having me, Sadiq. This is so exciting. I love your energy and just I'm so grateful to be asked to be here. So thank you so much for wanting to know about my journey. And yes, the hustle's real. It's Friday. I'm in the car. I had to go to the post office. So this is what, going for your dreams is about. It's about working and hustling and just taking care of business. So here we are.
Yep. I love it. I love it. So can we go straight into, like, what would you say if any random stranger, imagine a random stranger come up to you and just said,
Okay.
hey Marina, what would you say is your first, or what would you say is the most important life lesson that you've learned? What would that be for you?
Ooh, that's a powerful question. I would probably say that going from the heart right now, freedom. So freedom is the most important thing that we have, and everything that we do in our life is our choice. So if something's not working in your favor, you have to make the conscious decision to let it go. If something in your life does not bring you peace, you have to acknowledge it and let it go. That is my number one lesson to you, because we can't change. There's some things we can't control in our lives. And sometimes we forfeit all the blessings we have because of something that we can't change. So freedom, choose to live the life that brings you happiness by being free from the things you cannot change.
Love that. So powerful. That's the first.
Thank
You're the
you.
first person to actually mention freedom, because most people usually start with like gratitude, or I'm sure that's part of your journey as well. But a lot of people start with gratitude, or like dream big or something like that. But yours is straight up to the point. Like freedom, like just be free, like just
Be
pure inner
free.
peace. Just go and just do what you love in life, right?
Absolutely. Life is a beautiful blessing, and we are free. We are free to do whatever we want. Why should we sit somewhere and wish we were something else? It's like you've been given a heart that beats, a brain that ticks, a mouth that speaks, hands that create. Like, you do it, and that will lead you on the path to wherever you're meant to go.
Absolutely, yeah, I love that. So powerful. And I think for me personally, freedom is just doing what I want, when I want, with who I want, whenever I want. Like I used to hear that all the time
Absolutely.
whenever I used to go to an event in London, and someone on the stage, one of the speakers will always say that freedom is just do what you want, when you want, with whoever you want, whenever you want. And I was like, I want to do, that's the life I want. Like, I just got to be able to just go travel the world and inspire people and coach people and mentor them and show them that they have so much confidence within them from an individual that was super introverted and shy and couldn't even speak to women and like just couldn't even hold a conversation, to now teaching people how to have conversations and teaching people sales and teaching people business and social media. And for me, it was just, I just had to convince myself that I am confident inside. When I don't care about what anyone thinks about me, that's when I can find my confidence and my freedom.
You just hit the head on the hammer there. Like, exactly. That's my point. It's like, just be free. Be free in your mind, be free in your thoughts, and you will live the life of your purpose. So that's my first lesson
So
that I learned.
before I go into number 2, just to add on to that, if someone overthinks, how do they find freedom if they overthink a lot? So there's a lot of people that listen to the podcast and they overthink a lot. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I would just say that's the letting go. It's like, it's so simple. We have signs in our world. We have signs all around us. We have everything that you love, everything that brings you passion, makes you unique. Those are the things that you should chase. That's the call from the universe. It's like when you try to do something that really doesn't feel good, that's when you're not being free. Like, I'm not a rocket scientist. I could go to the best school, MIT. I could study rocket science stuff. My dad could be a rocket scientist, but that's not me. So there's a lot of books that I've read that have reminded me that very thing. It doesn't matter who your family is, what your grandma does, if your dad does it, if your best friend thinks you should do it. It's in you. So you have the choice to be free by following your passion, your dreams, and doing what makes you sing, what makes your heart sing. So that's freedom. Every day that you wake up, do you go to a job that you hate? Do you sit in traffic in a car that you don't love? Do you spend money that you don't need to impress people that you don't even like? That's the key question.
Yeah.
So if you answered yes to any of those, honey, you're not free. If you wake up and you put your money into your dreams and you build it like brick by brick and you inspire people and you make people happy, you're free. You're free because you're not passing that negative energy. It's like when you're living for you, you can, like, I was late today, but was I like negative? No, I was like, this is the hustle. And I was late today because it was in the lineup, but I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you so much. And I smiled at the lady at the post office and I wasn't agitated. Life happens. So we just have to go with the flow and stop making excuses why we're not free and just rip off the Band-Aid and let go of the things that aren't making us happy. And it's hard at first. We have all these expectations, but who are those expectations for? Are they for you or are they for someone else? So again, we have the ability. When you watch those movies and the stories about the legends that overcame, that were so resilient, that found their freedom, amen to them. Like, those are my leaders. Those are my people. I want to hear about the grind. I want to know that it was hard and you had to overcome something. Those are the stories I want to hear. And those people found their freedom.
Yep.
So I hope that answers the question. It's
You got deep there. You got super passionate. Everybody was like, "Oh wow, she's just gone straight into that." And then for that part, and also, and the fact that you're even in the middle of the hustle in the car right now, the whole environment and what you're saying, it just goes perfectly, exactly what you said. Like you're living it right now, which is what I want everyone to. If you're watching on YouTube right now, is to just see Marina and look at. She's in the middle of the hustle, and still she made time. Because she knew that she had to prioritize the podcast that she had today, and so even though she came late, as you said, it doesn't matter. She came and she apologized and she was super happy and she's super like, "Thank you for waiting for me." And I think it all comes to wording, like the language that we use. You could have come and just said, "I'm so sorry that I'm late," and "Oh, I hope you didn't have to wait too long," and like you could have used that negative language that would have made me think like, "Oh, like maybe she's always late like that." Or because you used the more positive language where you came, you apologized and you were like, "But let's get straight into it. I'm super excited and thank you so much for having me on the show in the first place." And then just getting me like excited to just carry on the conversation. That just shows that our language in how we speak and what we say is so powerful. And that's actually where I believe freedom will start from, is from the language that we use, and then the people we surround ourselves with, and then the environments and where we go in life. So super powerful. I love that.
100%. Yeah, it's, again, natural. Whatever's coming out of me is just how I feel today. And I think that's important to be like current. And these, lessons that I'm sharing with you brought me to exactly where I am right now in my life, in this car, in where I am in my life right now. So obviously we've gone through a pandemic. We're still going through it. I had to move cities and make changes that I didn't even know I could, but I trusted the journey. So that would be my second one. Are we ready to move on to number 2?
Let's go.
So number 2 is trust the journey. I've changed careers a few times in my life. I started obviously as a fashion designer. I don't know why I said obviously, but as if you guys know me. When I was very young, I was 18. I got accepted to Parsons School of Design in New York City. I looked at Central St. Martin's too, but I wanted to live in New York. And I got accepted, and I wanted to be a fashion designer because I love to draw fashion. And my life from 18 to where I am right now, 39 years old, has crazy how much I've changed. Like, I went through the World Trade, 9/11. I was in Paris, and I was doing like haute couture tailoring skills, and I was miserable. I didn't want to be a sewer. I didn't like fashion for that reason, and I basically went on to just really nurturing my illustration capabilities, and my career in fashion shifted so many times into like, okay, am I a pattern maker? Am I a designer? Am I a textile designer? What am I? Am I creative director? And I just shifted so many times. But I even one time quit fashion entirely, and I went off to the States and was the lead singer of a rock band, and I went on tour, and
Oh,
I
wow.
became a yoga teacher because I needed to find my like calming, just my zen moments. I needed to just find meditation and peace, especially when you're a performance artist. And after like 2 years of being in music, I realized it wasn't the career for me. And I totally just knew this is not for me, but I did it, and I took a chance, and I ended up back in fashion again. And I'm so grateful for the people I met on that journey, and the lessons I learned about different industries, and they all kind of molded me into where I am now. And when I send out my emails, for my business, I have some of my old yoga students that are like, we love your work. And all these people that I've collected and connected with throughout the years are my people. And I realized that you don't have to please everybody.
Hmm.
And that's never what you should try to do. You connect with people, you feel that energy, those are your people. You don't have to try to sell yourself to somebody who's not your people. And that's where a lot of people fail, because they're wanting to please everyone, and then they take it to heart. It's like, you only need two friends in life, you only need one friend, you only need one customer. It's like, so if we try to please everybody, we lose it all. Just trust that you have your people. Just trust you're in your journey. So that's what I've been doing. And I had my first door open of my business when I was 20 something years old. I opened up a store in Yaletown, and I was a designer in Vancouver. I thought it was like everything. I didn't have to work hard for it at that age. And I lost it all, and I had to start from the ground up. And it took me 20 years to get to open a new store. So I just opened my new store last week, and 14 years before that, I closed the doors of my first store.
By the
So
way,
I never gave up, and I just
your new store, by the way, looks amazing. Like, honestly, like
thank
the
you,
design, how it looks so cute.
thank you.
Like, it looks so cute, and
It's
like,
happy.
well, from the outside, and when you go in, and like, I saw some of your stories, and when you first opened the doors, and I was like, wow, like it looks so cool from outside. You go in, and it's like color and creativity, and I love it. It looks really, really cool.
Thank you so much. It's my happy place.
Hmm.
So I wanted to work in a space that made me happy, not a sterile office environment where you had to wear a suit. It's like my space is so colorful. I have prints of butterflies and, cherry blossoms and animal paintings, and it's my happy imagination, and I just decided to be true to that. So
Yeah.
I welcome you to come and visit it in real life.
One day when I'm there, I promise you, yeah, I'm gonna just surprise you. I'm just gonna pop in. I'm gonna quickly go to Instagram, Art of Marina, go check the address, and just pop in, and you'll be like, oh my days, you're the guy that I did the podcast for.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I would be so excited if that happened.
That'd be awesome.
That's the whole point. I built a space in a magical place. So
Hmm.
I just felt connected. You know how there's like an energy in locations,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. Like, my brother owns a winery in the Okanagan here in British Columbia, and he's an amazing winemaker and just such a awesome guy. He's one of my best friends in the world. And I always was super homesick and missed my family. And so my brother, when he opened his winery, I'd come visit, and always in the back of my head was like, oh, I want to be here. I want to be here. And then one day they expanded and they bought out this property that had an art gallery on it. And last summer I was here, and or in the winter, and the artist that was in residence passed away. And he was a really great guy. I met him. He painted beautiful wildlife, and he passed away. And and the light bulb went off, and I was like, I wonder if like I could paint in that space. And when I walked in there, I was like, I love this space. And I was in Toronto. I was doing my thing. I was part of my like girl boss group, and like, you know, that's where I met Natalie, and there was a connection, and I was like, oh, I can't move to the country. Like, what? There's no way. So anyway, long story short, the all the markets were canceled because of the pandemic. I had no clue what I was going to do, because, you know, you lost my money. I had all this inventory, and a light bulb went off, and I'm like, maybe I should just go to the Okanagan and explore, like maybe just having a gallery and just locking myself in there, because I was working out of my house. Anyway, so I came, and it just was like magic. It was magic, magic, magic. And before I knew it, I was doing pop-ups for the summer, and then I acquired the space and slowly turned it into my gallery, which I was going to open in July. But hey, it took a long time. Again, the timeline is something you have no control over, but it opened. Oops.
You're still here.
Oh, I lost you.
It's okay.
Okay, good. I just trusted the timing, and everything worked out, because randomly I incorporated my business on September of 2018, and on my actual business birthday was the day of the opening of the store. And that was a coincidence.
Wow.
So trust the journey.
Trust the journey. I love it.
When you look back, you can like piece it together, but we don't know going forward. We just have to trust. You have to have faith. You have to trust. And yeah. So
I totally agree. Honestly, I really agree with that. I just feel like, I know people used to say, don't go with the flow in life, but I think sometimes going with the flow is okay, as long as you still have that clarity of you're moving forwards and you know where you're going, rather than just shooting
exactly.
dark, you know, in the darkness where you don't know where you're gonna be heading, and, you know, get lost somewhere. And I also think guidance, you know, like you said, you surrounded yourself with those people from the boss woman group and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
those people with like new connections and new energy in your life, that kind of, you know, that made you kind of stay on track towards your dreams. And it's like those people I always share through my content, like surrounding yourself with those like-minded, positive, ambitious people.
Yes.
So important, because I just cut all the negative people in my life, and my life just became amazing. I was like, oh my days, yeah, I'm not making no money and my business is not growing, but I've got amazing connections that if I ever start something and I say, hey, I would love for you guys to help me, they'll all come running. Like, Sadiq, you've done so much for the world,
Totally.
you've added so much free content, like you've inspired us all this time. Anything that you need, we're going to do it for you. We'll be the first people there to support you. And for me, those genuine connections is so important to make in our life. So love it. Yeah, trust.
I could not agree more. Like when I started connecting with like-minded women who were also entrepreneurs, they were there. They were there to support me. But I was always in I hate to say the word competitive, but it was a competitive corporate environment where everyone's climbing a ladder and everyone's terrified, like, oh, did they get a raise? Did they get a promotion? Why didn't I get a promotion? Like, I'm not good enough. So it was just that work environment for me was toxic. And I didn't realize it until I started branching off into and started my side hustle. And when I started my side hustle, that was my happy place. Like that was where no one could critique my work, because I didn't care. It was for me. At work, when I was designing for Ben Sherman or Joe Box or Joe Fresh or one of those brands, that's when my boss could say, I don't love it. And I'd be like, well, what don't you love? I don't know, I just don't love it. And he'd be like, okay, well, I'll keep working then. And it would be really hard. But when I would do an art show and put up paintings of ice cream cones and flamingos and palms and things that made me happy, my people found me, and no one could say, oh, change it, because it was my place.
Exactly.
So I knew the corporate environment, like I didn't like so many things about it, and I wanted to build a place where I could work for me. Obviously I didn't think it would happen, but you know, the universe has a plan for you. I do believe there's a plan for you, and if you listen to the call and answer those things, then you're going to walk the path that you're supposed to walk. So
Totally.
yeah.
Love it. You're right. Spot on. Honestly, I love how deep it's getting and how you can just tell, right? Everyone listening and what you're watching, like you can tell how passionate, Marina is right now, of how her journey is just so real, and she's there in the hustle. She's been through the trenches, the obstacles, the challenges, and you can tell she's speaking from the heart. And before we started the call, we were just talking about how we're both the same in terms of in our content or through speaking and stuff like that, where we just have no script. Like we just always be
Yeah,
ourselves. Like, and I think that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned in life is when you stop worrying about other people's opinions and you can just be yourself around everyone and anyone. Like I honestly treat this cleaners that I see the same as I treat any big,
absolutely.
successful, entrepreneur or business person. I'm like, you're still another guy. You're still another woman. Like we're all equal. Just because you're in a different role doesn't make you special. We're all equal. We're all same. We're all one.
100%. I had so many things came to my mind there. It's like when you meet people who genuinely love what they do, those people are going to shine.
Yeah.
So whether you're the guy at the post office or the cleaning person or you're a teacher, when you really chose the career that made you happy, like some people love cleaning, like they're really good at it, they love it. Some people love singing, some people love driving trucks, like whatever it is, when you come across the energy of somebody who's on their path, it's so good. So that's why I ask everyone to stop and ask themselves right now, like, do they wake up in the morning for themselves? Do they wake up perfecting their skill of life that they chose to perfect, the one that they want to put their heart and soul into? Do they love their job? Like, if not, then maybe you should read a self-help book or get a coach. And because I got a coach, I definitely got a coach before I quit my job. Like I needed to know if this was it. Like I got the dream car, I got the dream job, I married my dream husband, and we bought our dream house, but I still wasn't fulfilled. So you have to ask yourself, is it money? No, it's not money. At the end of the day, it's that transaction of that conversation of what are like your heart and fulfilling your heart.
Hmm. Love it.
So
So true. Genuinely just doing what you love and trusting that the dots will connect, as Steve Jobs used to say, right? It's just I love that.
yeah,
Trust.
they will connect. They will. It's like have fear. One of my favorite quotes is that one, what if I fall? Oh, but my darling, what if I fly? And
Yeah.
that's by Erin Hansen. So when I did my first art show, and this is kind of like what started my entrepreneurship, I did my first art show and I just painted everything that made me happy. So do what makes you happy is another life lesson. Um, and I remember being at this really intimidating art show in Toronto, and everyone was such a pro, and I didn't even have price on my paintings. I really just had no clue what I was doing. I was terrified. I wasn't from Toronto, so I wasn't part of the scene, and everyone that came to my booth had a huge smile on their face, and they're like, your art just makes me happy. Your art just makes me happy. It's like, it's not deep meaning. And I love deep meaning art. I love looking at, Edgar, Degas and Cézanne and Van Gogh. And I love seeing like what really amazing artists do with deep thought. But for me, what made me happy was painting things that made me happy.
Yeah.
So that's why when you look at my
Yourself,
artwork, you see
yeah.
straight up things that make me happy. Butterflies and beautiful birds and food. I even have burger paintings. Like I just paint whatever makes me happy. And people were genuinely happy when they came to my booth. So I knew that I had started fulfilling my purpose just by putting it out there. And trust me, it's scary. And the next week, somebody reached out to me and goes, I love your work. I'm a marketing person. I do events. I'd love for you to have your own pop up at the big mall in Toronto. And I was like terrified. I'm like, I don't like, how am I going to do this with my full time job and everything? But that quote, what if I fall? Oh, but my darling, what if you fly? So every time I was really scared to lose or fail, I just said, what if I fly? You got to try it. You got to go for it. So just try. You might fail, but that's okay because I collect my failures like trophies and I put them on the wall because every failure that I've had stands in front of me like a lesson that can never be taken away from me. And that's what makes me an expert at my field and makes me confident in making a beautiful, sustainable garment, and knowing that I got it from the right place, and knowing that I put my heart into it, and knowing that I stand for what I create. So I did fail many times, but those failures got me to where I'm going. So that's another lesson right there.
I love it. Awesome. I don't like. I have nothing to add on that one because it was like just so. You were in the moment. You were in the flow. You were just like straight to the point. I love it. Like, and I honestly agree. The only thing I'm going to add is that I honestly believe if whoever's listening right now or watching this on YouTube, I just like Marina said, I hope and I pray and I wish that you just find one thing. Just start off with the one thing. Just start off with the one thing that just makes you really happy. Like she said, those simple things like the butterflies and the burgers and the things
Yeah.
that just really made her happy genuinely. Like, and we're not talking even about money yet. We're not talking about making money from this or anything. We're just talking about doing that thing that makes you happy in the spare time that I promise you that you have, right? And
I
that's
love
what I
it.
wanted to add. So that's number 3, do what makes you happy. So what would you say is like the 4th thing?
Well, I'm going to flip it. I'm going to say, okay, if we talk about happiness, what about pain? Right? What about pain? So for me, I did another podcast with this beautiful woman. Oh, it's going all weird on my screen. Her name is McKinney Smith, and she has her own podcast called The Walk in My Stilettos. And she's the first person to ask me to go on her podcast. And it was the first time I shared some of my trauma, which I didn't intentionally plan. Again, you know me now,
Yeah,
you know me. I
yeah,
just say what I feel that day. So one thing that her and I discussed when I said my story was that pain births purpose. And
yeah.
that is my lesson for you right now, because when you go through something painful, it ignites your purpose. It
Love it.
maybe, for me, I became an art teacher because art became my therapy. What I realized was that I had to have a creative release. Like, some people go to the gym every day, some people love hiking, some people ski. Like, for me, I love the process of making art. So I decided to create a paint therapy book, which I'm not completed yet. It's coming out soon, where it's painting for mental health.
Wow.
Because when I was going through my own trauma, mixing paint, pouring it on the page, creating abstract art, painting butterflies became my therapy. And I started to share that and teach that to other people. And I watched people let go. So the same way you have to let go of fear, and you have to try to be free and do all those things, it's the same thing that you can do with a paintbrush. So yeah, my pain that I went through, my deep pain, brought me to painting, which was my happy, happy, happy place, which then became something I wanted to teach and share with others. And that has become my purpose.
So
So
powerful.
pain versus purpose that goes even deeper. We don't have enough time on this
Yeah,
podcast,
100%.
but
I would love to go deep in that because that's so powerful.
yeah,
Pain births purpose. It's so true. So true.
it's incredible. Like, anyone who's gone through anything painful, like, they need to search for the lesson. Like, why did this happen to them, and what can they do to heal from it, and how can they help other people going through it? So for me, I had a really bad luck with fertility, and when I first shared that with my followers, it was an accident. So I was like, I just got Hootsuite, and I wanted to have like a deep post because somebody said, I was listening to a podcast and someone's like, share something vulnerable. So I made this, and they're like, you don't have to post it. And I did the post, and then I accidentally pressed publish while I was sleeping. Like, I had it set and I didn't know. So I woke up to all these messages and people freaking out and sending me all these messages like, oh my God, thank you for sharing that with me. You have no idea how much it's going to help, because I shared that I had had several miscarriages, and that my husband and me suffered from infertility. And when you see my Instagram, you don't know the pain that I'm going through. But with Chrissy Teigen and John Legend's post that happened the other day, I cried because I saw the value in her sharing her pain with others and being vulnerable. Even as a celebrity, we're human and we go through really hard things. And when you share that, people connect,
Yeah.
and and then you can heal them, because then they don't feel alone.
Hmm.
Back in the day, people wouldn't talk about, it was so shameful to mention, oh no, we just don't want kids. Okay, you don't want kids, so that's fine. But they don't know what really goes on.
Yeah.
And now it's like there's communities, and I have this beautiful friend, Megan, who created an app and it's called Be Ceremonial. It's coming out soon, and it's where you can actually go when you've had a miscarriage or you've had like any crazy experience. You can go on this app and do a ceremony just to like have that moment where you're like, okay, this has happened, let's appreciate it, what good did we get out of it, let's have gratitude, and then we can move on. And that's so important. So I did that over and over again with my losses. And when I started to share them, people were like just accepting of it, and it made me feel more free. It made me feel more free. And that was another thing. It's like, oh, I don't have that burden of pretending I don't want kids anymore. It's like now I can just live my life and
There's other
focus on my
people like you.
blessings.
Yeah. You can
So that's
kind
really
of
important.
relate with each other as well, because suddenly it opens other people's doors. Like, oh wow, I'm not the only one. I'm not alone.
Hmm.
Because most people right now, especially in the pandemic, they're secluded and they're just at home and they're self isolating and they just feel lost and lonely and stuck and a lot of overthinking and depression and anxiety happening in their life. And just having the blessing of just the internet and social media can allow them to kind of start healing just from their own home, because they can listen and see that other people are just like them and what they're doing to overcome it, whether it's painting, whether it's personal growth, whether it's starting a business, whether it's, I don't know, starting something that they just love doing, some kind of a hobby. And you're dropping the phone all over the place,
Technical
guys.
difficulties. That's
But yeah,
amazing. Sorry about that.
that's all right. It's powerful. That was powerful. Okay, so because we're coming up to the end of the show, what would you say is your last and final kind of life lesson and message to everybody before I go on to asking you my deep question?
Okay, well, I think I'm going to go back to a point that I made, which is I said something like failure. So collect your failures like trophies. I think it was a poem I'd read somewhere, but I want to bring that one back because failure is the greatest tool you'll ever have because you've experienced something, and the experience is what makes you rich. You don't know what it feels like to do something until you do it. And then once you do it, you get more confident and you can do it again. You might fail 5 times, you might fail 6 times, you might never fail. But if you do, it's the greatest lesson because it's only going to build you, your strength, your courage, and your capability. So fail hard, fail smart.
I love that. And last week we had Jess on the show, and she was sharing the same, very similar something. She was like, fail fast and fail more, because like every
Yeah.
failure makes you stronger. Every failure puts you onto the right path towards your dreams. And most people look at failure in the wrong way. They think it's negative. They think it's bad. But actually, I look at failure like, let's go and fail more. Let's get more rejections. I see failure
Yeah.
and rejections like a game. Like I'm so excited when the
Yeah.
next failure or the next rejection comes in my life. I'm like, yes, that person, that wasn't meant to happen, but now let's go move on and like make it even better, and let's learn from that and make the next step more.
Yeah, or let's move on. Like me and my like singing rock star career.
Yeah.
I always fantasized about being like this girl in a band, and when I finally got it, I was like, "Whoa, this is not for me." So, but I failed. I failed at it, and I have to admit that, and it was okay because I was like, okay, well, at least I got it out of my system. So sometimes failing is good because you need to get out of your system, like a relationship. Like, okay, we don't marry our first boyfriend, maybe we do, but it's like, what do you learn from that relationship that you can take into the next one? So they're all crucial steps, and they're not bad. It's like I'm so grateful for like previous love and all the experiences of love I've had because they've been so nurturing and they've helped me figure out what I want in my life. So they're all good. Life is a beautiful journey. I don't even know if there's a beginning or an end, because when you make art, you leave a part of your soul in the world.
Yeah.
And now with YouTube and social media, like we could be forever, really. We can, if
Yeah.
and that's if we choose to be. That's if we choose to leave our legacy behind, if we choose to leave positive intentions, and if we plant a seed in someone else. It doesn't have to be your own kin. Like, you can inspire anyone. And like my grade 8 high school art teacher is in my heart forever because she's the one that told me to go for it. She's like, girl, you got it. Like, because I used to play sports and I was a volleyball player and I was a tennis player and I was going to do all that. And she gave me the book for Parsons and goes, you need to go to art school. And I was like, really? Art school? Okay. So,
Wow, that's
yeah,
inspiring. That's so cool to have that from a young age, to have that kind of, I guess, a mentor, right? That literally your teacher and your mentor that taught you, that saw the potential in you. Because most people don't. Most people see, most other external people will tell you that you're not good at specific things, right? They always tell you the negative. Whereas
right.
your teacher told you, hey, take this and run with it because you are amazing at this. This is your gift, and that's super cool to
You
have
know,
that.
I look at it like that teacher, she had her calling. She was supposed to be a teacher.
Yeah.
So again, it's like you meet the right people and the community will be there to support you forever. So,
100%. 100%. All right, Marina, I'm excited now because I want to ask you the
okay.
last question. And this one normally makes people think a little bit more, a little bit deeper. But here we go. So imagine me and Marina, we actually let's change it up. Let's kind of change
Okay.
it up about
Cool.
how I normally do it, because since you've opened a new store now, imagine I come to British Columbia one day and I come into your store and I surprise you, or you're hosting an event, okay, and you invited me to come to British Columbia and we're gonna host this epic amazing event. I'm gonna invite people.
It's going to happen.
We're going to talk about creativity and inspiration and love and mental health and everything, and we're going to inspire so many people, and there's going to be your shop full with chairs in the front, and just going to be like
Mm.
hundreds of people there. And you were on the stage and you were asked a question from someone in the crowd, and they said, hey Marina, if you were to leave everybody in this room with one life lesson before you leave this earth, what would that be? What would that one last sentence that you would leave everybody in this room with?
Jeez, that's so hard. Um, it's so hard. I'm such a verbal, like, I have so much to share. So one
Say
thing,
what's in your heart in one
oh
sentence.
gosh.
What's truly in
Um,
your heart in one sentence.
okay, so I was having a conversation with my husband like 2 days ago, and he goes, "Did you make that up?" And I was like really impressed that I actually did, because I Googled it and it wasn't a quote, but it was something like, "Don't let life get in the way of love." So I would pass. I don't know why I chose to share that, because he was like, "That's pretty cool," and I Googled it, and no one's written it on Pinterest. Like, it's not a quote yet. So I thought to myself, we make excuses to go and see the people we love. With the pandemic, now it's all about our people, our family. It's don't miss out on love. Don't miss out on love because of life. Like, don't check off the checklist. Like, fuel your heart. Your heart is everything. It's connected to everything. So fill your heart first and don't let life get in the way of that. That's
That
all
is
I can say.
beautiful. Beautiful, deep, amazing, straight from the heart. I love that. And since you said it's not a quote, I'll be making you that quote. So don't you
Yeah,
worry.
you will.
I'll be making you that
Woo!
quote and sending you over that post after the podcast
I
goes
love
live.
it.
And so, honestly, Marina, I'm super, super grateful that we got connected. I'm so glad that Natalie introduced me to you, and I can't wait
Me
to see
too. I
your
love
journey.
Natalie. Oh,
She's amazing, yeah, and I'm so glad that like I'm just attracting all these amazing people into my life, and that's one of the reasons I'm so grateful to have a podcast, is because I just get to meet amazing people, and I don't have a specific kind of you don't have to have a specific blue tick to be on my podcast. I just want to
I love
anybody
that.
anybody that has a genuine like that has been through struggle or some kind of life lesson, or they're
Mhm.
hustling or they're grinding, and anybody that I see taking action, I want them to come and share their life lessons, because I
I
know
love
how
that.
valuable it is for everybody in the world to just realize that why should someone on a podcast only bring on special guests? Like, everybody's special. I see everybody as special, and so I want to bring on people that I genuinely see are taking action, and they're hustling and they're ambitious, and they're just dreamers, and they're not, and
That's me.
they're going out.
I
You
love it.
are 100%. We all could see that. We can see your energy. You can see it in
Yeah.
your posts and in your creativity. We can see that. But for everybody that's listening, and Marina, or that's watching on YouTube, I will be leaving all the links for everyone to go and connect with you. But what platform can they reach out to you if they have any questions around pain or struggles or anything around
Oh
creativity?
yeah.
Like, where can they
So
reach?
So Instagram is like where I'm at all the time. So you can go into my DMs. I will be launching my book next year, but if you're interested in going on my paint healing journey, there's a link in my bio and it says the 9 magical butterflies. So if you want to go on a 9-week journey with me where we can do, every week is symbolic of a different butterfly, and every butterfly has a paint like release ceremony. So you can pick a topic and you can paint and do a release ceremony and grow and heal. And if you just want to chat, come on by, get a link, my link in bio of my Instagram page, and it's Art of Marina. So at Art of Marina.
I love it. And I'm going to share all of that in the description on YouTube and all over the podcast. It's going to be everywhere on social media. You guys already know
Thank
where
you
you can
so much,
be.
Sadik.
You're welcome.
Like, I'm so grateful we connected. Like, I just love this chat. I'm never going to forget this parking spot that I'm sitting in and this
100%.
amazing conversation.
This is the place that I had the most epic podcast conversation with some crazy dude
Right?
from the other side
Yeah.
of the world.
It's the realest shit ever, right here, right now.
100%. The realest shit, straight from the post office. That I just done this podcast from the post office. Like, that's the power of technology. Amazing.
I love it.
So
Happy
Marina,
Friday. Thanks for sharing your energy with me.
you're
I love
welcome.
it.
Me too. I'm so grateful that you shared your life lessons. And guys, if you're watching or you're listening, make sure you all go and send some love to Marina. DM her, shoot her a message, show her some love on her page. Go and check out some of the amazing things she has in her store. And if you ever go to British Columbia, make sure you reach out and DM her and say, I'm coming to your store to see you. And let her know that you listen to this podcast and she added so much value and creativity and energy and love into your life. And basically go
I
show her
love
some
it.
love. Come on, let's go. Go show her some love.
I will welcome you with open arms. And I painted a big mural on my building of my barn, my art gallery barn. It says, "So happy you're here." So come and take a picture, a selfie with me in front of that sign.
Love it. Awesome. Well, Natalie, you have an amazing rest of your Friday and an amazing weekend. And hopefully we
You
stay in touch.
too.
Can't wait to grow together on this journey.
Me too, Sadik. All my love, all the best. And thanks again. Have the best day.
No worries. You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.